Hey everyone, it's Todd the Cybertruck truck guy, and today I want to talk about the 3 reasons why riding my off-road motorcycle makes me so excited for the Cybertruck. So some of you know, a few weeks ago I took a motorcycle trip down to northern Arkansas. As a new YouTuber, I thought it might be kind of interesting to record some footage of my motorcycle trip. A bunch of you said that you'd like to see some of my motorcycle, my off-road motorcycling video footage. So it seemed like it would make a lot more sense if I used that footage as a way to tell the story about some of the reasons why riding my off-road motorcycle really get me excited for the Cybertruck. I need to set the stage a little bit on this video so you kind of know who and where the actors are. This was down in northern Arkansas. We had the day we went out was preceded by 10 inches of rain. So there was a lot of water out there, especially on the first day. There was a total of 3 of us. Our guide for that trip was someone I'd never met before. His name was Bo. Then I was riding with my frequent riding buddy, Andy. And it should be said that Bo is both a native of that part of Arkansas, so he knows all the trails and roads like the back of his hand. But what's more impressive is that he didn't start riding off-road motorcycles until he was 58. He's 68 now, and I think it's safe to say he's probably better than Andy and I put together. So to start this off, I want to show you some photos because unfortunately my GoPro had died when we started tackling these really big water crossings. So keep in mind, these are the water crossings we felt comfortable going through. One of these is the longest water crossing I'd ever done. It was probably close to a mile. The other one is the deepest water crossing I'd ever done, probably close to 3 feet deep. I did manage to do a little bit of a motovlog while I was driving, talking about the first thing that gets me so excited about the Cybertruck when I go riding off-road. That's the whole issue of going fast in the backcountry. So we'll take a look at that.
It doesn't take that much speed for it to be pretty fun out here in the backcountry. 50 miles an hour is as exciting as going 100 on the highway. It's a lot more about acceleration and cornering than it is about just pure speed. Feeling the vehicle slip around underneath you, taking corners. Now my Tacoma is fun out here, but it's not nearly as fun as my motorcycle because of the acceleration. But the tri-motor Cybertruck will actually accelerate faster than my motorcycle, which is kind of astonishing.
Okay, the second reason I'm super excited for the Cybertruck is the armored body and the underbody. So as you see in some of this footage here, the trails that we ride on get very overgrown, they're very tight, and if you take a truck into those trails, these are mostly Jeep and ATV trails and dirt bike trails. So the branches are all overhanging. There are some really deep ruts. The bottom line is that it's a perfect environment to get a truck scratched and dinged. Now, I'm not saying a Cybertruck could actually get through all of this stuff. It might just be too big. But the difference is that with that armored exterior, I'd be willing to try. A lot of times in off-roading, you don't actually know what you can get through until you try it. And if the reason you don't want to try it is because you're afraid of getting your truck or SUV scratched and dinged, you just won't try it. And so the Cybertruck just encourages you to go and adventure in places that you otherwise wouldn't. And to me, that's kind of the essence of adventure and off-road travel. Now, I did promise that there's a fall. So on the 3rd day, I actually took a tumble. And I'm going to go ahead and show you that footage here real quick.
Pretty good hill up here. I don't think you'll have a problem.
Well, I guess I will or I won't.
You won't.
One of those 2 things will happen.
Yeah, 2 possibilities. You make it or you won't.
We'll find out. Damn it!
I'm just gonna lay on it.
I turned that off. Oh.
Put that kickstand
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'll help you.
Yeah.
Once I got back up and we got on our way, you'll notice that I fiddled around with the controls here. And here's a little hint, that's foreshadowing about something worse to come along. My bike was starting to act wonky. A little bit later, literally like a minute later, I ended up getting this stick stuck in my motorcycle, and it was actually green wood or fresh wood, so I couldn't break it off. The other issue was that my leg was pretty beat up from the fall. I had twisted both my ankle and my knee pretty good, so I was having a hard time lifting my leg or getting it swung over the bike. So that's why Bo came up and actually helped me get the stick out. So we got back on this trail, and about another 5 minutes later, I ended up getting into this mud pit. And because my leg wasn't working right, I wasn't able to stand up on the motorcycle, and I wasn't able to really go through that mud pit fast enough, and I ended up getting stuck. So as you can see here, Bo got on the front with the rope, and Andy got behind me, and unfortunately Andy got him. I spun my tire, he got mud all over him. He's a good sport. But we ended up getting out of there.
Good Lord.
Just like home, huh?
We got up to the main fire road, and I noticed right away my motorcycle was having some big issues. Got off the bike and took a look, and my whole rear wheel housing had cracked. My bearing had warped, and basically my motorcycle was undrivable. That's where I want to talk about reason number 3. I get so excited about the Cybertruck. So I'm not sure I mentioned this, but Bo, the first time I met Bo was on that trip, and I still don't even know Bo's last name. But with me broken down and with a gimpy leg, Bo volunteered to ride his bike back to his home, which was 45 minutes away, pick up his truck, bring his truck back, help me load my motorcycle back up on the truck, and then ride to the hotel. And once he helped me get my bike loaded up into my truck for the return trip home, I tried to just offer him enough money to reimburse him for the gas he had spent, and I knew he would refuse, and of course he did. And the reason I knew that is that's just how we kind of are in the off-road motorcycling community. Now, I'm not saying everybody would do that for me, but most of the guys that I've ridden with absolutely would. And honestly, I would for them. You see, there's some kind of strange kinship that happens when you drive strange vehicles and you go into strange places, and you just end up developing kind of like an extended family with everyone that does the same thing. It's what I call a vehicle-based subculture, and I think those of us that actually buy Cybertrucks, it's going to be a very similar thing. I think all of us that are early Cybertruck reservation holders, we're all kind of weird. We think it's going to be awesome to drive this giant silver electric wedge around, while everyone around us is questioning our judgment and our decision making. But in our hearts, we just know this is going to be awesome. I can't say this for sure, but I have a feeling that if one day you're unfortunate enough to be broken down by the side of the road with your Cybertruck, I can almost guarantee you that if another Cybertruck driver comes by, they're going to pull over and see if you're doing okay, because we share this odd love of this bizarre vehicle. I'll bet that in the future, once we actually get our vehicles, we'll be doing meetups, and we'll be going on road trips, and we'll be going on off-roading adventures, all while we're reveling in our futuristic Blade Runner buggies. See, in my experience, there's this funny kinship that forms when you're driving odd vehicles and you're doing odd things with them. I think the Cybertruck is already kind of creating this weird kind of extended family effect that I've experienced in the off-road motorcycling community. How do I know? Because I started this video and you guys all keep watching them and commenting. we just can't stop thinking about when we can finally get our hands on our Cybertruck. So that's why riding my off-road motorcycle gets me so excited for the Cybertruck. Well, okay, the integrated ramp will also be nice for loading my motorcycle. That's one more thing. Okay, before I sign off, I want to do a little bit of a channel update. Beginning this Thursday, June 11th at 8 p.m., I'm going to start doing a weekly live stream about all things Cybertruck. And there's several reasons I want to do this. The first one is I really had a blast in that first live stream, the Leno live stream. And when I started thinking about community, it really is clear that there's nothing quite like actually having live interactions with each other. So even though the show itself was a bit of a disappointment, we never seemed to run out of things to talk about. I think that doing a live stream just helps enhance the community. And that kind of leads into my second issue, which is that the reason we didn't run out of things to talk about is that the news and the updates are coming out so fast that it feels like there's always something new to talk about. And it seems like there's more news coming and more conversation to have than I can cover through making videos. And the third reason is a practical one. As the real world starts to spin back up again, my ability to have such long periods of time at home where I can create content is shrinking. And I need to come up with a way of creating a second video per week that isn't so time intensive. The plan kind of looks like this. I'm going to still keep doing my longer commentary and feature videos over the weekends and post those on Tuesdays if everything goes according to plan. Then on Thursdays at 8 o'clock Central Time, I'll be doing the Cybertruck live stream. When the live stream is done, I'll actually take time and go ahead and put in timestamps so that people that want to watch parts of the live stream don't have to go through the whole thing. They'll actually be able to go to sections that are of interest to them. So this will allow me to still connect with the community, create content that is about the news and things that are happening without me needing to spend, literally a 10-minute video can oftentimes take me 5 hours of writing, editing, blah, 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 all that stuff. That's kind of the pathway that I see moving forward. All right, if you made it this far, you're obviously a diehard, so click on whatever buttons you want to click on and make whatever comments you want to make. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye.